I'm a hypocrite. Hey everyone, it's Yu. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about how I have recently decided to start investing in my 401k again. As many of you know, I'm on a debt-free journey to pay off $146,000 of debt. As of today, $105,000 of that have already been paid off, so I only have about $41,151 and some cents to go before I'm officially debt-free. And one of the biggest motivational factors for me to pay off debt is so that I could start aggressively investing afterwards. So during, I would say, maybe like the middle of my debt-free journey, I decided to fully stop investing in my 401k. I think that happened in around March 2020 when everything just, things happened. We got a panini. But that was just something I decided to do. When I first started working, I knew that I was eligible to get a company match, and I actually did allocate a small percentage of my paycheck towards making Roth contributions to that 401k account. Obviously, if you have a company match, that is always going to be a traditional contribution, not a Roth, so that will be taxed whenever you do take that money out. And I was okay at that point. This was around 2018. Just making, small Roth contributions. I wasn't really maxing out my company match either. I just gave what I could because at that point I was making a bit less money than I am now because it was my first year working and I had my own apartment and I wasn't, or I didn't know how frugal I could be yet. I learned that along the way. I learned how to be better about grocery shopping. I learned how to be better about saving energy in my apartment. And I got a dog, and that also taught me a little bit more discipline in being responsible for another living, breathing being. Even though getting a dog was expensive, I definitely learned a lot about managing my time and finances along the way. So when the panini happened, I was really into, the Ramsey guidelines, the Ramsey principles. While I was making all of these Roth contributions, I kind of just randomly picked some funds to invest in. I didn't really pay too much attention to that because A, I wasn't fully invested into the personal finance community like I am now, and B, I was more worried about my student loans. I knew how investing worked. I just didn't want to focus on that. I like focusing on one thing at a time. So when I did pick whatever funds I wanted to invest in at that time, I kind of just picked whatever looked good. I didn't really give much thought to it. I was like, okay, this seems kind of risky but not too risky, so I'm okay with it. This is good, this is fine. And I've honestly gotten a decent rate of return on those investments, so I'm really not bashing myself for not spending too much time studying what I'm actually investing in. But that's another reason why I kind of didn't really care when I did eventually stop fully contributing to my 401k. Even along my debt-free journey throughout 2019, I actually, as I was getting more into the Ramsey teaching type stuff, don't invest until you pay off debt, that was the one thing that I was really hesitant about because I wanted to get my company match. I wanted to get 100% rate of return on some money that I would put in. But at the same time, there is some truth to the notion that not investing kind of does motivate you to pay off debt faster. And so once I really grasped that idea, I actually started slowly decreasing the percentage that I was contributing to my 401k. Let's say I was at 3%, I would go down to 1%, and then at one point I was at 0.5%. I was not doing anything with that money. The 0.5%, why am I like this? I should have just put 0 and been done with it. I just personally wasn't fully comfortable with letting that go yet. And then when the panini happened, I was like, you know what? I'm okay with not investing right now. I'm good. So that's when I decided to just completely stop investing in my 401k. But since I stopped contributing, I definitely got a renewed sense of motivation to actually pay off my debt and be done with it earlier. I actually decided to move back in with my parents. I don't think I would have done that if I didn't have an additional sense of urgency other than just becoming debt-free, which is obviously something that I want, but the fact that I'm losing out on money, there's nothing more motivational than that, to me at least. So I recently decided to start contributing all the way up to the point where I'm maximizing my company match to my 401k. So all of my contributions are going to be 100% Roth. whatever the company matches is going to be traditional, and that's fine. But now I'm at the point where I kind of see both sides of the argument. Like, I went through the Ramsey phase. I understand the motivational factor behind that teaching, and that's because I lived it. Like, I actually felt that motivation. And then I definitely see the other side of that argument from like the personal finance community and other modern financial gurus to just at least get up to the whole company match that you are able to get, and then put the rest of your money towards debt or whatever investments you want to make. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle right now because like I just understand both sides. I actually do believe that there are pros and cons to both, and it's not just a mathematical problem. A lot of it is definitely behavioral, psychological, and I've definitely seen that throughout my whole debt-free journey in general. Money is not just math. This month my debt may only accrue $100, and it's only gonna get lower from there. And because it is like a 2.78% interest rate, which is a really low rate, I finally feel more comfortable with actually allocating some of my paycheck towards my 401k account. Now obviously this means I'm gonna lose some of my like spending money, I guess, because I've definitely been a little bit more liberal with my spending lately. If you guys saw my October budget video, I went over some purchases I made in September from Miss Whitney Simmons, and if I'm okay with spending, you know, over $500 in clothing, I should be okay with contributing even less than that to my 401k to get my match. So I think that I'm at the point where like it just makes sense to invest. You know, there really aren't that many utils to be gained from not investing at this point, just because my debt isn't really accruing that much interest. And well, I know myself now. I know that I'm gonna stay on track of this journey. I know I want to get this debt paid down. I don't think that once I finally start truly investing in my 401k, I'm gonna decide, no, like I'm not gonna keep doing this. Like, I just want to throw the rest of my money towards investments. Like, I want to just keep my student loans. Like, that's not me. That may work for some people, but for me, like, I cannot explain how heavy the weight of student loans feels for me. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, if you know me, like, you know I just hate this. I hate being in debt. Even the thought of a mortgage anytime soon, like, that scares me. Like, I just want to be debt free for a bit and just chill. Like, that's what I want. But at the same time, I also want to make it really clear that I don't regret not investing for that time. I'm happy that I took a break. I kind of wish I had stopped investing sooner, just because I needed a little bit more motivation earlier on, because that honestly is what would have made the bigger difference. When I started investing in 2018, my student loans were at a 10% interest rate. That's almost equal to the average annual return on the S&P 500 for the last 40 years. I was gonna get that return if I just paid off my student loans. Even though I was really just focusing on my federal student loans to begin with because I wanted to do the snowball method, that would have helped a lot. Like, I had so much debt in the beginning. I think that not investing in the beginning would have helped me more than not investing later. But you just learn things as you go, and that's definitely been my experience. But obviously now I'm very happy and I'm solid in my decision to start investing again. I feel like I've really thought this through and basically decided that the good weighed out the bad in terms of motivation. And I'm excited. I'm happy that I'm finally taking advantage of this benefit, and I'm happy that I'm starting to prepare for retirement again. And with investing, that's obviously gonna get me closer to Coast Fire, which is something that I talked about in one of my other videos about reaching fire, because it just seems fun. Like, I think that that's something that everyone should strive for. You should strive to build wealth and use that wealth as you see fit. It's good to have options if you want them. Personally, I just like having that security, and that's definitely something that I want to go for. It's just something that I didn't think was possible for me at one point. So it's awesome that people like me could actually attain something like that. In case you aren't aware, I did make a financial freedom template months ago, like almost a year ago now, and I did model that after Dave Ramsey's teachings. Like, I'm not going to take credit for that at all, but I think it's a really helpful template to see how your finances are doing month to month in whichever stage you're in, like paying off debt, savings, or planning for retirement. You can obviously customize that as you see fit. I do want to plan to kind of revamp it to something that is more aligned with my current beliefs and what I think could really help people. But honestly, you do you. Do your own planning, but if you want to use my template, you can, and just modify it to whatever, you know, works for you. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what I'm doing with my financial decisions and like kind of changes in my thinking lately. I want to be transparent with you because hopefully this will help someone else who's kind of debating whether or not to start investing or not investing while being in debt. And if any of you have invested while in debt, please leave that in the comments below. Let me know what you did. And if you didn't invest while in debt, then how did that work out for you? Did you like that, or would you have preferred to have started invested earlier? Alright, thanks for watching.